Here's a really quick COMC and eBay hack that I just used to sell a handful of cards over the weekend. So if you're someone who sells cards on COMC, you may or may not know that your cards also get cross-listed to eBay. I wouldn't say all, but the majority do. Of course, the one downside is that when you're listing cards yourself on eBay, you can obviously go into My eBay, see all the prices, send offers, adjust the price, adjust the title, whatever. When you're listing on COMC and those get cross-listed to eBay, the eBay listings are sold under the COMC account. So you don't really have any control over what happens to them on eBay. Not to mention when they're listed at a markup price than what you've listed on COMC, but that's another story. But with just a minute of research, you can find all your listings or most of them on COMC's eBay profile in order to get a better idea of how many watchers you have. And then based on that information, adjust your prices of those specific cards to see if the people watching them are going to bite. So the first thing you want to do is to find one of your COMC cards that you've listed for sale on eBay. Once you found it, click into the listing and go to the specific item information. And you'll see a 3 or 4 digit sequence of numbers and letters at the end, this one being FC1. Now you'll want to go to the COMC store on eBay and search that code. So here I'm searching FC1. Once you do that, you should see a lot of your cards pop up. Now this won't be all of your cards, and you might see cards from other sellers. And it also might take some trial and error because some of your cards will have different codes. But once you find a number that returns the majority of your cards, you still don't know really how many watchers each of these has. So go to your favorite eBay third-party website that can give you this information. This is watch count. Do the same thing and plug in that 3-digit number. You'll also want to set the category to sports card just to narrow down the results. But now I can see which of my cards have watchers, and they're sorted in descending order. So I can see 11 watchers. This Miguel Vargas has 6 watchers, and on down the line. Then the last thing you need to do is just head back to COMC and adjust those prices. Here are 3 cards that I lowered the price on, and it's no coincidence that they sold. And as you can see, I had them priced higher than what I purchased them for, so I still have a pretty good margin. $24.99 to $42.75, $5 to $25.65, and $9.99 to $14.25. And I actually sold a couple more that aren't here. On the other hand, you can also just go to COMC and lower your prices without knowing how many watchers. But if you have a large inventory of items, sometimes that's a lot of wasted time. But with this method, you're at least focusing on the cards that people are also watching and keeping an eye on the prices. And if those prices just come down a couple bucks, you might find a few buyers, just like I have. So